I'm a little rusty on that one. I'm usually pretty good with the kilo conversions, but I just wanted to talk with you today. You're one of the best in the world, getting insight into your training, into everything as far as everything, just nutrition, all the
Yeah,
things. What makes you as good as you are? Because how long have you been training?
dude, I've been training since I was a junior in high school. Middle, I mean, I was still like training for sports and stuff like that. And so I would, do track. I would do, football stuff. I'd do everything. But powerlifting at the end of high school was where it really picked up for me. And that was back in the day with Powerlifting Watch. I was going to Powerlifting Watch to find my first meet. I didn't know about USAPL. I didn't know about any of the like other federations. I knew, hey, what's near me? Cool. Powerlifting Watch says this meet. I'm going to pick this meet, and that's kind of where I started, man.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know what powerlifting watch is because it's like open powerlifting is so, prevalent now, and that's where you find all the
Mhm.
numbers and such. And you can go to the actual federation's website to find the meets. But back in that like 2010 era, you had to go and like powerlifting watch and try to dig through and find meets. And it wasn't very organized. It was just really clustered, and things have come a long way since then. So you
I,
are 27 years old now.
yeah.
So how many years have you put in the game then?
I competed at my first meet in 2014, but I was training for powerlifting specific training since 2011.
Okay. So you've
So
been
almost 11 years of powerlifting specific training.
Were you like naturally strong off the like right when you started training? What were your numbers at when you first started, and what age was
Oh
that?
man. I mean, my numbers were, so I didn't really start benching until like benching regularly until like 2012, 2013. So a couple years into it, I was just doing like dumbbell bench pressing and like upper body push pull legs type of bodybuilding stuff. And I ran like small off for like squats. I did everything. I tried everything back in the day. But no, I mean, I think the first day in the gym, I was deadlifting like 315, conventional. Um, I was benching maybe, 45. I mean, not even a 45, like 25 on each side. So like 95 pounds, something like that. My squat was already pretty good, I would say. I could squat 225, 250 something right off the bat. So my lower body definitely was my natural strong point, I would say.
Were you 11 years old or not 11? That was 11 years ago. You were 16 at the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So 16 years old. You've been doing this about 11 years now,
Mhm.
and you've basically become one of the best in the game. So what? I mean, you definitely say you had like a natural affinity to lower body training. Um, what would you say has like made you, gotten you to the point you're at now? Like, what are the main things? What differentiates you from everybody?
Sure. So I think, me being around as long as I have and being so consistent, if you look at my open powerlifting, you have that database open, you can see my
Love it.
first meet and where I started. I started at the very bottom, man. Very, very bottom. Um, I would say now we look at some of the top level people in USA powerlifting and even mid level, and you kind of see this general range of what like 83 kilos can do or 82 and a half kilos. And that was like, I wasn't even quite there yet in the beginning. At 90 kilos, my first meet, I did in wraps. That was a NASA meet, and I squatted like 462 or 457. I benched 275, which was big for me at the time, and then I deadlifted 240, so 529. That was back in the day, first meet.
Wow.
I've
Yeah, I'm
just
seeing
been
it here.
consistent, man. Just been very consistent.
Yeah, I think looking at your numbers, you're like perfectly embody that consistency because this was April 2014 and 195 pounds. And then you just kept chipping away. It seemed like every few months, do a meet twice a year, it looked like. And your body weight hasn't gone up that much since then. You're still 205 class. So that's basically 10 pounds heavier from your first meet until now. And that's 8 years apart. So that would definitely be consistency.
Yeah, man. And you see the bench, how slow it really went up. And even now, it's kind of like we're really pushing it. And I'm benching 6 days a week in order to make progress here. But it is one of those things where it's just steadily chipping away, just barely, 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 barely every meet.
Yeah, that's one of the things like I've seen with, I talked to Candido, I talked to Sawyer Klatt, some of these guys, and they have to bench with a very high frequency to get bench to move at all. That's one of the things I've noticed just with natural athletes in general. Like you can't, for the most part, you can't get away with just benching, 1 or 2 days a week or three even. You have to really ramp it up to this crazy high frequencies. And have you found that to be the case yourself then?
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the deadlift specialist affinity like you are, where we have these super long arms, and the range of motion is a little bit further, which is no excuse, right? Like everybody's built and born the way they are, and you got to work with what you got. Obviously, we have the deadlift affinity. We got to kind of work harder on the bench, but it's more of just like the neural adaptation to training, where you have that like skill practice aspect and continuously adding in a little bit more, getting your technique better. And then just adapting, some top sets, some, more easy volume, that kind of stuff. That's been working well for me. But yeah, I do have to bench a lot in order to get it to move at all. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And I think you were talking, I forgot who it was. It was either you and Candido or or maybe Hack. And you guys were talking about like the trade-off for that extra day of frequency is just like maybe not worth it for the extra 10, 15 pounds that you may get. But it is for me at this point. I've put in so much to this, and yeah, 6 days a week is where I'm going to ride out for a little while.
Well, what's changed from like when you started? So when you started, and you guys can go look on Open Powerlifting, look up Chance Mitchell, and you will see one of the best examples of steady progression over the years. He is just like chipped away at this methodically, which is unreal to see. I didn't take a closer look until now at how methodical the progress has been. It's just been like consistently chipping away. There was never like huge jumps in there or anything. And, going from that 275 bench at the first meet at 195 up to, 424 now at 205, it's just crazy to see. So in your early days, like how often were you benching back then? I know you're saying you're doing 6 days a week now.
I think I started with 2 times a week, and that was working out okay. And then 3 clearly needed to be added. And then after that, it was like, okay, let's just try 4. And I could handle it, and I had the time to do it. So it was like, yeah, you may as well. There's almost like that thought process of if you're getting a little bit of work, or if you're getting good output from 2 days a week, why immediately jump to 3? Well, if 3 is sustainable and you can handle that in your day-to-day life, and it's recoverable, everything else is fine, why not? And then I was like, okay, if I'm already doing 3 and I can recover from that, like may as well try 4 if it will get me that much more. And I was at 4 for a while, and then 5 came probably a couple years ago, and I've been at 5 since, and now we're at 6.
So when did you bump it up to 6? How long ago?
6 was the last 2 months. And this was purely because I just qualified for IPF Worlds. This is my first IPF Worlds that I'm doing.
Wow.
And so this is a big, big deal for me, obviously. So like whatever I have to do to exhaust everything I can, that's why.
You're 4 weeks out.
Yeah, I'm 4 weeks out.
So Chance is doing IPF Worlds. It's in South Africa, and you'll be competing. IPF is still, they have 205 class, right?
Yeah, 93 kg. Yeah.
Okay, so that hasn't changed because I know USIPL it did change. So there's going to be some big names from the US going down there then.
Yeah, it's me. So if you look at the nomination, I'll pull it up for you so you don't have to check this out. But Jonathan Keiko is the #1 slot for Worlds. So he's 888 kilos, which is like 1950 total.
Okay.
And then there's me. I totaled over the world record total at nationals. I totaled 1930. The next ranked third is Gustav Hedlund from Sweden, who totaled 1908 or 1910, something like that. And the next person right there is Sasha Steinbach from Germany, who totaled 4 pounds less. And then there's like 2 other people that are all right around 1900 total. So 6 people that are super, super competitive at Worlds from everywhere across the world. It's a big, big, big deal. This is a very competitive class.
How close are you to Jonathan then? Do you think you have a shot, or like I
Oh
don't.
yeah. So we went head to head at this last meet. He beat me by like 20 pounds, essentially,
Oh,
like 10 kilos.
dang, man.
So it was very close. I had a bad meet on bench and left a little bit in the tank on squat. So had I gotten both of those, it would have been very close. So yeah, we're going head to head again, and I'm ranked second. But again, there's 4 other people that can be super super close. So we'll see.
Now,